Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday, June the 13th, 2019, and you are listening to the Dead Sun Mr. Video Game Super Show live podcast live on TwitchTV.com. Brought to you by Dead Sun Entertainment live. Yes, podcast live. Woo! I love saying that every single time.
Live.
And of course, I'm Slacker Kai, Travis, whatever the hell you want to call me. We are starting early today because we had things we had to get done. And might as well get it out of the way because we wanted to talk about some post E3 bullshit. So, with me, as always, he didn't put the con in convention, but he did put in for a venti. It's Brian, aka Wonder Boy.
I
Woo!
like that. I like that you said that right as I'm drinking my coffee, so that works perfectly. Now we are so ready to talk about post E3 that we're not even waiting for E3 to be done before we do it. What up? That's
It
called
might as well be
overachieving.
dead. Yeah.
N- Yeah, that's what we do.
All the real announcements have happened already, so, might as well call it post. And don't even at her until March 2020. It's Joan, aka Lady Goggles.
Let me begin by apologizing for screaming into your ear at the live stream of the announcement of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I was a little overzealous, and I may have potentially fractured a couple of ears, and for that I am sincerely sorry.
And I too apologize for cackling maniacally when they announced Lego Forza.
Oh,
That was 10 out of 10.
now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't have an issue with it. It's just kind of like whatever.
Honestly, it makes me might want to play Forza more
Yeah, right?
than anything else that they've done. So
Yeah, like I love Forza. I haven't played it in a while, and then seeing Lego added to it is like, they've been looking at my dream journal, and they apparently know what I'm into now. So yeah, we did some live streaming of the E3 conferences over at Lady Goggles' channel. This is a
yes.
pretty fun time.
I think so, and I really appreciated you guys doing that on my channel because things were being wacky, and I promised my community that like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. It's gonna be super special for E3. So thank you guys again for being there and for keeping me company and for helping me do color commentary.
Oh hell
I
yeah!
would. Yeah, I wouldn't have missed it. I love like dragging good things and then talking up good things and then dragging, I don't know, talking about bad things. There were plenty of bad things to talk fun about. So
Oh yeah, I'm sure we'll touch on all that. Before we, oh actually, you know what, Travis, do you want to talk about what you've been playing before we get into?
Yeah, sure, why not? I have oddly had a little bit of extra time to play a whole bunch of bullshit. I got in, there was some real heavy discounts on the PlayStation Classic, so I picked that piece of interesting machinery up. And I have to
Jesus.
tell you, it's the strangest thing when you boot it up the first time. Like if you've ever used like the NES Classic or the SNES Classic, there's friendly screens that drop you in and happy music and stuff, and there's all sorts of settings and filters and bullshit you can use. The PlayStation Classic just gives you a little swirly screen of 20 games that you can play if you want to. And
Like the UI was so disappointing. I watched him boot it up because he brought it down here to the living room, and I just remember looking at it and going, "You couldn't come up with anything engaging." All it was just the blandest shit.
why not even give us like the original PlayStation like multi, like there's a CD screen they had. There were
Yeah.
so many other UI things they have that they could have used.
Wait, hold on, hold on. It didn't give you like the classic like PlayStation opening screen?
Nope.
It does when you launch the game, you get the PlayStation logo.
Oh, that's some hot garbage.
Yeah, it doesn't do that when you start the console though, like you would expect it when you start it up, right? Just to give you that at the least the PlayStation logo. But no, you're just dumped in. Hey, which language do you use? Okay, here's your menu. Cool.
My God.
game.
Uh,
Like it's I know that like we should be focusing more on the games and and that's the more important part, but I mean when it comes to UI, that's I think equally as important when you're porting classic stuff over. I mean Nintendo can nail it because it's still all within their branding. PlayStation just goes,
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, you have to give me a reason not to want to emulate these games, right?
right,
And
right.
giving me something that's fun, and Nintendo has figured it out, right? Give me something fun as well as actually playing these games, and maybe give me something a little extra. They learned with the SNES to give us that Starbucks box goodness. But no, this was fucking garbage. um, I mean, some of the games are pretty fun. I had a lot of fun with Ridge Racer. I'd forgotten how much fun the original of that was. But man, some of the games on that are fucking clunkers.
Oh, you mean like how about Intelligent Cube?
Or Cool Borders 2.
Okay, I'm not gonna let you drag Cool Borders down like that, but I will definitely side with you on Intelligent Cube. What the fuck? Why?
Let's not
There are
like I know
there's so many X game games that you could have put on there. So many other puzzle games you could have put on, and these were your cream of the crop.
like I understand licensing is an issue, but you put Intelligent Cube on there and you couldn't put Castlevania Symphony of Really?
Come on, like Konami doesn't bargain basement their fucking games
I
anymore. You
know,
could
I
do it.
know, I know. I'm just saying. Like
Nah, they're saving that for that TurboGrafx 16 mini.
Jesus.
Oh, we'll get to that, but
Oh, we will.
that's some bizarre ass garbage. So yeah, if you could find it cheap, I still think the PlayStation Classic is worth picking up because there's a few games on here that are relatively solid. And yeah, Jumping Flash is on the screen now. I had a bit of nostalgic trip. That was my first 3D game that I literally ever played. It's a little awkward when you first get back into it, but it's pretty fun. It's enjoyable. It is nonsensical Japanese bullshit, but still, it's enjoyable.
I mean, it's Sony that half of like this console generation is like weird Japanese bullshit. So
Pretty much, but that's also part of the charm, I think. I wish it
Oh,
had more of the weird Japanese for America. But all the bad translation and all the bad voice acting, like I wanted more of that. Also, why wasn't Parappa on here?
God, yeah, some Jammerlame could have been nice to throw in. There's so many things. Joan, did you think there was anything else they could have done with this?
I mean, I'm trying to think back to all of like the original PlayStation games. There was a lot that they could have done. I mean, we're looking at Metal Gear Solid now, and that's something that see they got the licensing from Konami to do Metal Gear Solid, so why not add Symphony of the Night? That's well, they could have fixed up the UI quite a bit just to make it a little more engaging and try to evoke that classic like PlayStation feel. They definitely needed to spruce up their game list. Like some of this stuff, I could understand why you put it on it, like Jumping Flash, because it was one of the first games to come out. Metal Gear Solid. But there's no Crash Bandicoot. There's no Parappa. There's no any of the other like franchises really that Sony is either known for or is known for being on their platform. So it just seems like a big disappointment.
And when I think of the PlayStation, I absolutely think of Mr. Driller top and foremost.
To be fair, Mr. Driller was very popular back in Yi Day, and it had a lot of go. It was very charming. Okay, it was charming AF.
Belly, we're talking about the PlayStation Classic.
Hey, Belly.
We're just kind of going over some things we picked up, but
overall, I mean, I think if you want to get it, go ahead and grab it while it's discounted. I wouldn't pay more than full price for it, to be
yeah, it still technically goes for $60. Do not spend $60.
Yeah, don't spend $60. I mean, I even think that $30 was a little too much, to be honest, but you gotta weigh that decision.
I mean, you get two controllers. It's a nice way to play, Toshin Din or whatever. It's fine.
I mean, they did have Tekken 3, which was like the definitive Tekken game for the PlayStation. They could have added. Oh shoot, I had and I totally lost it. Oh well. But like, there was just a lot of missed opportunities there. They chose not to for it. I feel like they maybe should have gotten the retro community involved and be like, hey, if you had to pick 20 games to be on PlayStation Classic, what would you want? And then done a survey from that.
But also, why 20? Like,
Well,
even the SNES Classic had 30.
well, yeah, but I mean, like, say for whatever reason they had to stick to 20 games for, just to be arbitrary. Give me a list of PlayStation titles and I can go through and pick a couple that should have been on this list.
All right, not to beat on a dead horse too long. Also played through Gato Roboto,
Oh,
which is
that one looks sick.
it is adorable as fuck. You basically play as a little cat that happens to crash land its owner's ship on a weird planet. It is Metroid all over the place, and it is a delight to play. The controls are a little bit floaty for reasons that kind of make sense once you start getting real into it. I definitely recommend having a good D-pad because you're going to need to aim those missiles carefully when you shoot them. But yeah, it's a solid recommend. It's maybe 3 to 4 hours of gameplay, and that's 100%ing it. So it's not a huge in-depth game, but for what it is, it's fun, it's cute, and there's a lot of laughs to get out of it, especially between the owner and his cat. So yeah, there isn't a whole lot else to say about it. Honestly, like look at it. It's fucking Metroid. It is literally Metroid. The blocks look like this is Metroid 2, literally redone
With
as
Cat.
Metroid 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, you sold me on Cat. You had me at you play as a cat, so.
Yeah, robot cat or cat in a robot suit firing missiles at shit. I'm in.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's some nice like little pickups that you can get, some color schemes that make it look like the Virtual Boy or other bullshit.
Oh,
So
God.
Jesus.
yeah, so recommended. The last thing I just picked up today and haven't had a whole lot of time with it, but the what Cadence of Hyrule, Crypt of the
I
Necrodancer.
want to play this super bad.
I can leave my Switch with you like later today or something. I'm not gonna play it much tonight,
That'd be
but
cool. Like, I looked forward to this ever since the initial trailer, and it just looks super, super. I love Crypt of the Necrodancer. I'm not good at it, but I love it. And the fact that you can play as Zelda and you can go into Hyrule and all that stuff. Sorry to interrupt. I just had to throw that out
you're
there.
good. Yeah, you make your choice fairly early. Like, I don't know a whole lot. Like I said, I have only really just barely scratched the surface on it. I've played around in the overworld a bit. You get to choose as whether you want to play as Link or Zelda. And Cadence here gives you a little guidance and helping out so far in the game. Um, Getting used to the controls is hard as fuck to start off with. The very moment that the game was like, "Hey, do you want to set it so that creatures only move when you move, and you don't have to move to their rhythm?" Yes. I don't give a flying fuck if I'm on the leaderboard or not. Maybe this is easy mode. I don't give a shit. Let me play a video game. So, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of things that are pretty different from the standard Zelda formula, and I imagine that they're, Crypt of the Necrodancer stuff. It's your items you can randomly pick up off the overworld, different shit, and when you die, it might be gone, but you can repurchase some things. Um, I mean, so far it's a rhythm puzzler. What can I really say about it other than it's fucking adorable. As you can tell, the artwork in it is great, and the music is fan fucking tastic. The music is worth the price of admission alone. There's a lot of great and talented people out there that have done the work on this, and I couldn't recommend it more.
I mean, and Zelda's always had fantastic music. We've always, talked in the past, not just us, but the community in general, about how like fantastic the Zelda music is, the symphonies, and all of the different themes of the different towns, and et cetera, et cetera. Like it's. I can think of very few games that would fit the formula of Treasure of the Necrodancer well, and Zelda is just a fantastic. It's a great fit. I mean, I could see one of these for like a Final Fantasy title, Zelda, and really like that's it if we're talking like classic title.
Hmm.
So I just think this it looks adorable. It looks so cute. I love the formula. Just fucking yes, awesome, great, perfect.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
So, Brian, how about you? You got anything that's on your mind before we begin?
So did get the chance. I did get the chance to play a couple things this week around E3. Most notably, Roller Champions, the new Rocket League esque sports game from Ubisoft that they announced at their press conference. The game is in pre-alpha, free to download in the UPlay store right now. It doesn't. I wasn't. My computer is a little chuggy running it, but I was able to get it going, and I am digging that game so far. I definitely still have to work on getting all the like finding the right angles to take and getting a lot of the timing down in some ways, but like it is very intuitive in its control scheme. It is very easy to just pick up and jump right into, no matter skill level. Um, and it's just a lot of fun. Like I don't know if it probably won't replace Rocket League for me in that instance as a go-to, but it's definitely one that I could see myself playing for a long time going forward. I'll have more to talk about that as it keeps moving forward in development. I think that one's out in full in early 2020. They said they didn't give us a specific date. But the one that I've been playing the most, I took up Todd Howard on his offer and I jumped into Fallout 76.
Did you? Are you for
I
real?
I downloaded Fallout 76. They have their free demo running for the week. I think up through June 17th.
Yeah, the
Right now,
17th.
you can play Fallout 76. And the main reason why I jumped into it is because I wanted to try out Nuclear Winter. I wanted to try out the new Battle Royale mode,
Oh,
and I did. And let me tell you, remember how whenever they announced it, I said I don't know how they think running a battle royale game on their
Engine.
with their gunplay and their engine would work at all. Spoiler alert: it doesn't fully work at all. Like I will say this much: like the building aspect of it, where because basically you can pick up like camp kits that are like made specifically to be like guard posts or sentry guns and stuff like that, and throw those up in the environment to help protect you. Those things work really well because they're very intuitive. You just pick them up, you throw them down wherever you want to. You know that it's not necessarily as um, creative as Fortnite can be with some of their construction because Fortnite you're basically building from the ground up everything. You're not just given a set schematic and you're throwing it out there. Um, but like those things work very well. They're it's odd in terms of the structure that I think many people that play battle royale are used to. So in this game, whenever you launch, you're in there with 52 people. It automatically launches you into squads of 4. So it's like basically 13 squads of 4, and you choose where you spawn at on the map before the match starts. There's no like plane or bus or anything flying over, and then you jump out and you're able to choose that way. They just give you the map and say, "Yo, move your cursor here and put down your dot where you want to start." And I can totally see that for this being like an early access mode of this version of this mode. But I hope that they change that because like it takes a lot of the fun out of it because there's definitely some excitement that comes that from the beginning of those modes where like you could just kind of go. I mean, basically, you just go wherever you want. It can be very flexible with how you decide that. But in this game, it's very much just like you pick, you start, nothing else. Where the game really runs into trouble, though, is in gunplay. Fallout, I I didn't mess around a ton with the actual Fallout 76 game. I did enough to like kind of get a feel for things, and I realized that I probably am not going to stick with it after the week is up. But the gunplay, it feels better than Fallout 4, but it doesn't feel significantly better to the point where would say that it is a competent FPS. And the one thing that you need when with a battle royale game is for your system to be a competent FPS. Like I had such trouble trying to line up shots using just the HUD without the VAT system in this game.
It's hard. It's hard. I
Yeah.
was watching, not to interrupt you, but I was watching a couple of Twitch streamers play. I was watching Oxhorn play, and like he seemed like he was enjoying it, but at the same time, I think he had the same complaint that the other Twitch streamer, Drex, did. But they were both like, the item management is a little clunky. It's a little hard to aim. Sometimes you shoot and the bullets don't recognize, whereas somebody shoots you and it's like almost instant down. It needs some work. What I will say, just from watching it, is seeing the fire come in as you are trying to both avoid getting killed and avoid the fire, which is like an insta kill, is pretty intense. So I do like that aspect of it. But as much as I enjoy Fallout, this isn't going to get me to play a battle royale mode unless I know everybody in my team and I'm comfortable with it. It looks like it really needs some work.
Yeah, and I'm glad that this isn't the full mode, because if this was the full mode, this thing would be a travesty in terms of like when compared to other battle royale games. Like the one thing you never want for other people to whatever they're playing your version of a genre is for them to think like, man, this is really cool, but I or this is all right. But I think I would rather be playing this other game in the genre.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was thinking. Like I'm playing this, I'm like, well, once I get through this fifth game of this, I can pop up, Apex or something and just jump back into that, because Apex feels really good to play. Whereas this, like, they don't even have a mini map in the
Yeah.
HUD. Like literally the only way you know that you're close to the fire ring closing in is either you see it coming towards you, or they have like a little meter in the top where like there's like a dot that's you, and if it's inside of the like yellow square at the end, then you're in the safe zone. But if it's not, it kind of shows you how far away you are from the safe zone, but it doesn't show you like where the safe zone is in relation to the rest of the map. The only way you can do that is if you go into the mini map, or not the mini map, go into the full map, and like that can definitely slow you down. So like I think that there are some like there is some skeleton of a successful mode here. I just don't think that the way that this engine handles firefights is going to make this any good.
Yeah.
Like honestly, if they had this mode but all you had was melee weapons, this would be so much more fun.
You know what? I could see that. See that.
You know? Yeah.
Like my friend Dewan was telling me earlier that he enjoyed it for what it was, but he would rather be playing something else. And as well, he tried to join 20 games and was able to join 2, so it
Oof.
kind of killed his will. Even if he would only really stick with it if it was free.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
How about you, Joan?
Honestly, I've spent most of this week being so focused on E3 that I really haven't been playing much. I have been playing some more Fallout 76, not Battle Royale, but Fallout 76, just to do some quests and things like that. And I figure, hey, if there's a free trial, like if anybody like wants to hop on, here's my name. It's just Lady Goggles, all word. So people can hop in and I can show them the ropes and try to gear them up and shit. That's about it.
All right. Any other thoughts on E3 this week we want to discuss, or just dive right in?
Real quick, can I just talk about what games I'm looking forward to? Like, I just have a list. I just want to be like, I want to. So, obviously, Animal Crossing: New Horizons. We're looking forward to that. Dragon Quest Builders 2. That looks like a lot of fun. I haven't had a chance to play 1, but now that I see that 2 is coming for Switch, like I'm interested. Gods and Monsters. It's a game where you play as this forgotten hero in ancient Greece. There isn't too much information about it from the trailer that I saw. It looks really good. Wolfenstein Youngblood looks really fun, where you get to play as twins who are looking for their father, and you get to kill Nazis, which is always great. Deathloop looked really good. What else? What else? Ghostwire Tokyo, of course, Cyberpunk 2077, The Outer Worlds, and Minecraft Dungeons. Those are all the stuff that I'm looking for playing. It's a small list in the grand scheme of things, but I mean, I think like all of these. It's another.
Yeah, I was surprised at like how many indies really caught my eye this go around, as opposed to when compared to like how many AAAs caught my eye. I mean, like it's no surprise. I think I, along with the rest of y'all, have kind of trended more towards indie titles in the past few years. But the ones that really caught my eye were Etherworld, which is a 3D platformer that plays with gravity a lot. That one's really cool, or as I described it on Twitter, dope. Um, Fall Guys looks rad. It's basically platforming battle royale. It's like 100 people drop into like different obstacle courses. The developers said they were inspired by Takeshi's Castle, which of course was the source material for MXC, which I grew up on. So like that just speaks to me in all different ways. And then I really liked what I saw from Watch Dogs Legion. That system, that engine is just sounds fucking crazy, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. And then Spiritfarer, that looks like the perfect kind of cuteness that I want to have when having discussions about loss and death. It looks like a perfect mix of things. And then Maneater. If you haven't seen the trailer for Maneater, go watch it. Like literally, you're just a shark, like backflipping out of the water and chewing
Oh,
down
I
on
forgot
people.
about that one. Yeah.
Maneater looks fun as hell, dumb as hell, and like the perfect kind of stupid indie game that I need in my life.
I admit personally, I tend to be reserved on my judgment on games until like reviewers that I like get their hands on it, other than like games with zeitgeist following them, right? So obviously, like it wasn't there, I believe, this week, but uh, Death Stranding obviously is a game with enough zeitgeist that I would say, yeah, let's go ahead and pre-order and see what's up. So, like your
Mhm.
Final Fantasy VII remake, your Doom Eternal, your Link's Awakening with that cute amiibo boy. Oh, he's so cute! I want to
He's
hold
that's a
Yes.
very cute amiibo boy.
him.
God.
Yeah, those are the things that automatically like. Yeah, those are on my list. The rest of them, like, okay, you're on my
Yeah.
radar. Maybe I'll buy you, maybe I won't, but I've got you on my radar for the future. And this is the first time I'm actually going to order an amiibo because normally I'm like, oh, it's a weird little thing that'll take up shelf space. Normally, when I get an amiibo or like a little trinket like that, it's, oh, someone else thought I'd like this. That's cool. I really appreciate this thought from this person. This is a nice little thing I can put on the wall and stare at. No, no, this is going to get this boy. No, I'm not pre-ordering the Steelbook. While that's cute, yeah, I don't need it.
Yeah.
All right, so we should probably get into some actual.
Yeah.
There's plenty of it.
All right, so this first one, I try not to shit it on the streamers, but just a fucking like. I'm sorry.
Well,
All right.
technically, he's not a streamer anymore because Twitch banned his ass. So
Well,
you can
Not
shit on him all
just
you want.
Twitch. E3 took his badge and revoked it.
Yeah, they did.
Dr. Disrespect has been banned from Twitch. His channel is currently down. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's gone forever, but at the moment it is down. There's no way to access it. It is just offline because this smart individual decided while he was at E3 he would do his first live stream, and to be an edgy man went into Ye bathroom and started filming. Luckily nothing was really caught on camera, but there are laws in California against filming regardless of how or where you film within what would be considered a private area like a bathroom.
not only that, but there's a chance that like there could have been kids in there, or you could have seen somebody's dick or whatever, and it's like not for nothing. No matter how popular the streamer is, if somebody like starts streaming in the bathroom and I'm like trying to wash my hands or like straighten up, whatever, it's like, can you not? This is there's a line. There's got to be a privacy line like somewhere, and he just went fuck it because that's his quote unquote character. Just
Yeah.
what a mess.
According to the Kotaku report, and it was called on the stream, like apparently there was a child in the bathroom.
Oh, nice.
While he was doing this. So,
Nice.
Yeah,
Lovely.
like the kid was way off in the background, so you wouldn't have really noticed it or anything. I did kind of watch the clip of him going to the bathroom. There is a child that walks by while in the bathroom, but no one is like, with dicks out. They definitely see that there is a dude holding a great big giant camera there. There's a few people who line up at the urinal for the grins and giggles, but none, whipping their dick out on stream or anything.
Yeah. So I just want to know the rationale behind this. Like I get that like there's a shock factor to it, but at the same time, like this is one of the dumber things. Obviously, you had to know that there was some kind of legal recourse that could come from something like this. Like you have to know that, but yet
Well-
you still clearly do it.
Here's the thing, though. Do you think his audience cares?
No, his audience doesn't care.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It doesn't matter about his audience though. His audience is going to support him regardless. I've been watching Twitch's feed of demos and interviews all week for E3 because I've been having to cover the event. And every time that anybody brings up Dr. Disrespect in those chat rooms, because I'm the sycophant that looks at, I don't have to like it to do it, but I look at the chat room sometimes. Anytime it comes up, people are like constantly blaming the camera, saying like it was the cameraman's fault for shooting in there, or like throwing out emotes and like all just flooding.
That's
everything
ridiculous.
with Dr. Disrespect emotes. So because like the audience doesn't care, his audience is there because he is a shitlord.
But
They
that's-
expect him to do these things.
That's my larger point. He doesn't care about legal ramifications, or that may not have even entered his head, or if it did, he was like, screw it, because my audience is going to get a kick out of this. My audience are the kind of people who enjoy this kind of shit. So
here's sorry, go ahead,
In
Travis.
somewhat of his defense, when he went into the bathroom, he was like, "Hey, hang on a minute, I'll be right back." And the cameraman just followed him in, and I imagine it was just like, fuck it, we're on, let's do it.
Here's the thing: if it wouldn't have happened multiple times where he wasn't like telling him not to come in there, then that's fine. Like if he did that once, and it was just that once, and
Yeah.
the cameraman came in there, I could throw some blame at the cameraman's feet. But the problem is that he went into the bathroom multiple times, and every time the cameraman came in with him, and he did not push back against it when the subsequent times that it happened. Like Dr. Disrespect knew exactly what he was doing. And I honestly do not believe in like the thought process that he was just doing it for his audience because he didn't care. Because you got to remember, the dude had somebody shoot at his house earlier this year. He knows the ramifications that can come with what he puts out on his streams. He knows what can come from his audience or his detractors. So like he has to be more careful about this stuff, and you can't put other people in the line of fire like he did going into a public bathroom where people expect a modicum of privacy. This fucking eats at me. Like you want like it goes back to the sort of thing whenever we were discussing like the trans bathroom bills. Everybody was all up in arms because they were thinking that people were going to be abused because trans people were using bathrooms that were assigned to the gender that they identify with. Well, but in the reality, that's never happened. There's never been a case brought where a transgender person has assaulted someone in a bathroom. But yet you have shitlords like Dr. Disrespect who fucking run their mouths, racist ass bullshit all over on Twitch, and he goes into a bathroom and puts everyone on blast without them fucking knowing, and his audience lulls all about while he fucking loses his only real source of income. So yeah, I look, I put the majority of the blame on this motherfucker squarely.
yeah, and I want to clarify that I don't disagree with you. I'm not saying what he did is right. All I'm saying is that even though Twitch is his main source of income, you know that there are going to be people shooting him donations. You know there are going to be people who are going to be supporting him no matter what. So I have a feeling, because I don't think the man himself is an unintelligent person. I think he calculated the risk and went fuck it. And now he still has all these supporters who are going to say, yeah, go for it, and get, the lols or whatever out of it. What he did was absolutely fucking stupid. It was, I mean, but that is his character, and I say that with like 20 million finger quotes. That is his character. So I am not at all surprised that he did something stupid like this. I'm honestly kind of shocked that Twitch got rid of his channel, even if it's temporarily, because most people who know Twitch, who don't really understand like what Twitch is or only know the big names, Ninja, Lyric, Dr. Disrespect. So the fact that they immediately just like, yeah, your channel's gone, that to me is shocking because he's such a huge moneymaker for Twitch. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, but like, so I am happy that they actually followed their own TOS on this and said, no, you're not getting away with this shit. Sorry.
No, and let me just reiterate, like, I'm not upset at either of y'all. I just get heated with stuff like this.
Okay.
Because I'm so sick of the fucking culture war that's going on with this sort of shit.
No, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, it is. And also, like, I'm glad that Twitch, like, adhere to their TOS, but at the same time, whenever you break California state law, that kind of, like, necessitates that you follow your TOS.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yay, Twitch for doing what's right, whenever they basically were legally forced to do what was right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But and again, I don't disagree. All I'm saying is that, like, I was initially shocked to see that, oh shit, they actually got rid of him. Okay, welp. And then, you could see in the update that later on he got his E3 badge revoked, so good job.
Yeah, directly from the ESA. Also, like, the ESA commented about Dr. Disrespect. Never thought I'd see that.
Right?
Let's hit one that ends on a higher note. Player High Sky from FaZe Clan. So there's a rule that to do most social media things, you need to be 13 years old. Apparently, High Sky lied to FaZe Clan when he joined, a year ago, stating he was 13. Yeah. Turns out he was 11 when he signed and is currently 12. So he has been dropped from FaZe Clan, dropped from Twitch, and his Twitter has been entirely revoked because, 12. On the positive side, he is now live streaming to YouTube, and his mom sits with him when he streams, and that's legal because if your parents are involved, then you're fine on YouTube. So, happy ending. He can play video games for the internet.
I just love that his mom has to sit there and watch him play Fortnite for hours now.
Yep.
It's hilarious. God.
Oh, but good for him. Like, he had a dream of, doing this, and, it's a very young boy's dream, but whatever. 12-year-old gets to be famous for playing video games. Fuck it. Who wouldn't want to do that?
No, I don't befall the kid for having dreams and everything. I don't even befall the kid necessarily for duping social media sites. Like, that shit happens all the time. It's just like, yeah, those things are in there for his protection, though.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, like, yeah, his Twitter account's gone for another year. Once he's 13, he'll get back on there and it'll be fine. He won't have to stream with his mom in the room anymore. I just love that he's like, because 12 years old is really at the beginning of that cycle in adolescence where you really don't want to be around your parents.
Yeah.
And now he's forced to be around his mom if he wants to continue his esports career.
Well,
it's the best irony ever.
Poor little buddy, but I mean, he'll be fine. I know I've seen a few people like, oh, this could damage his career. Nobody gives a fuck that a 12-year-old lied.
Yeah, it's not gonna damage his career.
Like, now if he would have done something stupid, like this is, in the grand scheme of things, lying about your age so that you can play a video game is not the worst thing in the world. It was dishonest, yes, but, like, he just wanted to play the game and be on a team, so this isn't like Hackers where he broke into a security system and tried to fuck shit up. Like, he just wanted to play a fucking video. So Now, hopefully, he's learned to be a little more honest, and then he's, he's still playing. He's still doing the YouTube things, which, isn't nothing to sneeze at. But, maybe when he gets older and things settle down, he can reapply and do.
Exactly. As a kid that used to scope out all the FYE stores for the one clerk that wouldn't card me when trying to buy a parental advisory CD, I can relate to this kid. I can totally relate to him.
That's the one thing I kind of missed about being working in retail was that I was the clerk that would card people. So you'd get these kids coming in and be like, "Can I get Grand Theft Auto?" And be like, "Let me see your ID." It's in the car. I need to see it. I'm sorry. They just walk away. Sorry, kid. It's my job, man. I can get, it's what I gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
But
all right,
sorry,
let's follow up on some older material that we had. Just some old stories that we've gone with before. Riot Games we've commented on before is in several lawsuits about gender discrimination. They are currently under fire from the DEFH, the Department of Fair Employment and Housing, for refusing to provide adequate information to assist in the investigation over the currently ongoing lawsuits that they're facing.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't know how, as a Riot employee, I know the Riot employees already have done walkouts. What more do you fucking do after shit like this?
They just don't want to give it up. I think that's what it sounds like. Because, the byline is saying that Riot insists it's cooperated since the beginning. But if you fucking cooperated since the beginning, you wouldn't be having to go to the DEFH. Obviously there is a disconnect and it's not coming from the state of California.
Yeah. There's really not much more you can, really push back against when it comes to this sort of thing. This is literally the main thing that they are there to do is to request this information from you and to investigate you. And obviously you don't want to be investigated, as we've seen over the past year. So I'm sorry, you don't have a good enough track record for me to be on your side in this situation, Riot, at all.
All right, following up more on Ubisoft being delightful and saying that it is going to continue to avoid making any political message with this game, despite some of the amazing jumps they've gone through. I want to quote from Yves, don't know how to pronounce your last name, Guillemot?
Oh, Yves.
Thank you much.
No problem.
He went on to say games should offer a 360-degree view of life. Let people interact with all points of view. So if we were here to set a game during the Vietnam War, we want it to reflect everyone's point of view during the war. That relates back to people making their own opinions and our ability to create a more mature game that are nuanced versus being black and white.
Here's the thing, though. Everything is political. And when you have, for example, looking at Far Cry 5 and the obvious message of white supremacy and quote-unquote states' rights versus the individual, or The Division 2, where it's a post-apocalyptic America, and your game, in-game, has signs like, the government has failed us, where's our food, where's our rations, what happened to the government, I don't need to keep putting these examples. You're trying to be milquetoast and blatantly avoiding the fact that you put these very deliberate political statements in your games, and now you're being wishy-washy and saying that there's no politics in these games. You can't have it both ways. That's not how this works. Nothing is simple in life, says Tommy Francois, but the problem is that politics is part of life. Politics is part of everybody's character, whether or not you're heavily involved in it, because it's still a choice. So am I making sense? Because this is so frustrating to me when they're toying around and saying that we're not doing these political messages. But all the games that you're creating has very blatant political messages in them. And I think part of this is kowtowing to that subsect of gamers who are in the fucking alt-right or alt-light or whatever the fuck they want to call themselves. who are like, I don't want politics in my games. I don't want, Gamergate, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of horseshit. Just get off the fucking fence and say that you want to make political games or that your games are political.
Fair enough.
No, you're not wrong. I just want to highlight real quick in this article, like this elephant analogy that Francois throws out there. Like, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work for me at all. Like this idea of like, like having an elephant go into a blind village and they're all touching different parts of the elephant, so they think it's a different thing, and then someone comes in and said, "No, you're all right," that sort of thing. Like, but none of you had the larger picture. I'm like, that's such a simplified way of viewing about this, because they does not understand that like not every situation has a "you're all right" answer to it.
Right.
Like there are certain things that you clearly are not right. Like that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy that Machine Games, when they were talking about Wolfenstein Youngblood, just reiterated as many times as they fucking could
Killing Nazis.
How fun it is to kill a fucking Nazi.
Or fascist, yeah.
Yeah, because that fucking feels good. Because Nazis are bad. I'm sorry. There's no place in the world.
There's not two sides in killing Nazis.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and somebody, I retweeted this, and I wish I can give credit to the original person who made it, so forgive me. But the gist of, and I'm paraphrasing heavily, the gist of the quote was like, politics and personal opinions and all that, they're part of a potluck. Everybody should be able to come and to share and to learn from each other and to try a little bit of everything. But when somebody brings a pile of shit to the potluck, that's not doing it in good faith. You don't want shit at the table. And I shouldn't have to spell this out, but white supremacy, Nazism, fascism, that's all shit that you're bringing to the potluck. That's not something that you can debate. You're not going to come in here and tell me that, you want to debate on whether or not somebody is a person or whether or not they deserve to live based on the color of their skin or their religion or whatever. That's not potluck food. That's shit. And I don't want that shit at my potluck.
Yeah.
All right, next story. Wow, I'm tired of talking about Cyberpunk getting into weird controversies, but here we are again. They included a image within one of their trailers of an advertisement for what looks like a beverage of some sort with a lady with what is very obviously a ginormous penis. So, Twitter has not been exactly friendly to them in response to this, as they should not be. But the artist had the following to say to Polygon: "Personally, for me, this person is sexy. I like how this person looks, however the model is used. Their beautiful body is used for corporate reasons. They are displayed there as just a thing, and that's the terrible part of it."
So I get the idea of, the cyberpunk world over sexualizing everything. It's a core like trope of all cyberpunk media in a lot of ways.
Oh yeah, woman with 3 tits. Gotcha.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to that end, like whenever you have the emergence of trans people, like of course trans people in a cyberpunk world would more than likely be over sexualized as well. So like I get the commentary behind why it's there. Where I draw my line is where the slogan for the soda that's in it, whenever you use a transgender person with the slogan "mix it up" to sell some fucking soda, like it might be just a little bit too far for me personally. Like you want to over sexualize the person, like I'm gonna have issues with that, but that's because that's the commentary of the game.
Right.
That's a commentary thing with the game that I will parse out as I play the game. But that slogan there, that's what just made me like cringe up real quick.
Now, this is to me one of those issues where like I see what you're going for, but I don't know you hit it. But also with the history that they have had, it just makes it feel bad.
I mean, I am not trans, so feel free to take what I say with like a big salt shaker. I see what they were going for. They're talking about advertising and the sexualization of women's bodies and trying to do something that really points that out using a trans person here. I don't think they quite nailed it. Because if the majority, or even like a subplot or something of Cyberpunk, for example, or side quest was like, hey, you know, this trans person is the model and she feels really disrespected, and you know, we got to do something to change this advertising. That would make more sense if it was something in context like that. But for just like a random advertising where you are trying to talk about the spectacle while also using the spectacle to showcase itself, it doesn't quite work in this instance. I see what the artist tried to do, but it just didn't exactly work. I think it needed maybe a little more nuance in order for that to be effective. But that's just one person's opinion.
Yeah, this isn't the sort of situation that makes me go, "Oh, anybody who orders this game is clearly transphobic." But
No.
No. I wouldn't say that. The Where I really think the messaging behind this sort of thing is going to come out is whenever you see how trans people are treated within the world of Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget, like, Cyberpunk 2077 plays off of the tabletop Cyberpunk series, and in the Cyberpunk series, you know, you have the humanity meter there. That the more you mod yourself, the farther down your humanity goes until you can enter what's it, like, cyber psychosis or whatever it's called. And in Cyberpunk 2020, the handbook, like, if you have a sex change, your humanity goes down. They look at it, they view and frame like being trans as less human. So if they don't make any changes to that sort of mindset and their approach to this game, and they keep that sort of thing in there, and while they have this messaging going on within it, that's where things become way more problematic, especially whenever you look at it in the context of the shit that was said on the GOG Twitter account coming out from CD Projekt Red. So I don't know. There's more to be parsed out whenever the game comes out, obviously. But for right now, like, yeah, you missed the mark with this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not inherently transphobic to me, but you definitely missed the mark.
oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, and the last of our kind of follow-ups, and I gave the wrong link initially on the list here,
Oh.
but yeah, try to put it inside of chat.
Oh,
Oops.
I see.
Hold on.
I see what we're talking about now. One from one
Mhm.
garbage can fire to another one. All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The Epic Game Store continues to eat up high-profile Kickstarters that people had just assumed previously would be Steam or were heavily implied or were sold as Steam. With Shenmue 3,
What?
this one was implied to be Steam but never promised.
No.
Yeah, and now some Kickstarter backers are not going to get the game on Steam, and they're requesting refunds, and the people behind Shenmue are like, nah, we're
Yeah,
not gonna give you your
their
money back.
Not for
refunds are
nothing.
not being addressed because you're still getting your game if you want it.
You know what though? I don't. You know, this was. I can see why they're a little upset about it because, like, if the implication is that you were going to get it on Steam, and then all of a sudden they turn around and be like, "Oh, sorry, it's an Epic Game exclusive. Deal with it, nerds." It's like this isn't what I was. This isn't what I was told I was going to get. Like, yes, I'm still going to get the game, but I think this is bullshit. So I can understand. Like, honestly, if I had kickstarted the game and they pulled that shit, I would be upset too. But like, no, I want my pledge back. This is ridiculous. Like, there should have been some sort of option here.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Like, I wasn't trying to be like derogatory in that instance. Like, I am totally on the sides of the backers here. It's like this is ridiculous.
It's certainly weird, but it's I believe owned by the people doing the production of this are the same company that did Metro Exodus, so it's not terribly surprising either.
You're not wrong. Yeah, Deep Silver is publishing the game, so that makes sense.
God damn it, Deep Silver.
Well, the thing is, like, I don't know if Deep Silver is necessarily the company that's saying no, you don't get your money back with this.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still wise at saying you don't get the money back from your Kickstarter since they're the ones that did the actual Kickstarter.
Yeah.
It was just Deep Silver that said, "Hey, you'll need to sell this on the Epic Store since we're getting exclusive deals and the whatnots."
God damn
Yeah.
it. This is why I only kickstart indie. They're gonna like, here's a key for Steam or itch.io or fucking whatever platform you want. Just here.
The Shinmue Kickstarter has been weird since the fucking get go. Like, I remember when it first came out, and it was like, Hey, Sony is giving additional money to this," and the Shinmue fanboys that I knew at the time were like, "No, you're entirely wrong. Like, this is entirely going to be crowdfunded, and they're going to listen to us because they love their people." Uh, I'd actually love to still be talking to that guy now and know what he has to think about this. Because
No. Oh, and I can confirm Deep Silver are the ones refusing refunds.
okay,
Oh,
So this is
well.
this is a Deep Silver thing. They are the ones refusing refunds. Yeah. Hooray!
and they don't have to. I also understand why you'd want it, but hey, you kickstarted the game. There was no promise it'd be exclusive to Steam.
Yeah,
Good luck.
that's the thing. Like, because it would be different if the Epic Game Store was behind a paywall. Like, if
Right.
you had to pay to access that thing, yeah, there would probably be some actual legal recourse you can take. But just the complaint is valid, but it's not anything that you can have any legal standing on,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
It's
Yeah.
still shitty. It's morally shitty.
Oh, it's definitely ethically and morally shitty. Like, honestly, it makes me question ever backing a video game Kickstarter again, or at least one that is associated with Deep Silver. You know, like I wouldn't give them money on Kickstarter anymore. Right? Granted, I don't think Deep Silver is going to have many Kickstarters going forward, considering that they have plenty of money. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, but that's the thing here. Like, Deep Silver wasn't initially involved. When it was sold, it was initially sold to people as, "Hey, we need your money to make this game," and they never discussed, "Hey, we're also getting Sony's money to make this exclusive." And then we never heard until they decided to do it. Hey, we've actually got another company backing us. Deep Silver is going to pocket this, so.
Yeah, yeah, Deep Silver did come in later. And so, like, it just makes even more of a reason for you to keep your eye on things that you do back on Kickstarter. Make sure they do not, like, end up, or, like, not necessarily do not, but keep an eye on who they end up associating with. Because, like, Deep Silver came in at the not necessarily the last second, but they came in later on as the publisher. They worked out that deal. So, I don't know. It's shitty. It's just shitty.
It is.
I still stand with it. Don't Kickstarter something that if you can't stand to lose the money or never get the actual finished product, right? Whenever I back something, I back it with the understanding this may never happen because you're not technically kickstarting it as a pre-order. You're kickstarting it as, hey, I like this thing, and also if a thing actually happens, maybe I get something nice out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a donation. It's not a purchase.
you're
Right.
yeah, like that's exactly what it is. Like you're paying for a promise. And I've been lucky in that I've only got burned by one Kickstarter. Everything else has been pretty okay, but it's exactly what you said, Travis. Like you gotta be, willing to go, well, there goes $100 or $10 or whatever.
All right. Let's hit up the post E3 news, and that
Yeah.
will cover everything for us. Square Enix has decided that there will be a subscription service to play its classic titles, adding yet another subscription service to subscription services.
We were joking about this during my stream when we were all talking about it and covering it, and we were like, "Oh, I think somebody in chat was like, oh, what if Square does a subscription service?" And we were all like, "Don't fucking jinx." Well,
Yeah, because you have your Ubi Pass, and you have Xbox and PlayStation and Nintendo, and you have the Google Pass, and
I'm fucking.
Not to mention, don't forget the Uplay Plus now.
You pay Plus. I'm just, can we not? Can we not? Like, it's just, I hate this nickel and diming shit.
I mean, at least you can still buy these games, so it's not as if they're like, "Hey, you can only have it if you're in our subscription service."
No, I get it. I'm just like, it's fucking, just, have, in order for you to play anything, it's like you're gonna have to go to all these different individual subscription services, and it's like, to what end? I mean, yes, we should be preserving the older games. Yes, we should be finding a way to do this in a way that's legal, but people can still have access to them. I don't know if subscription-based services are the best way to approach this, because everything is moving to this like either subscription service or live games as live service, or, and I'm trying to formulate how I feel about it. It just rubs me the wrong way right now, and I don't like it, and I'm just kind of over it.
Yeah. Speaking about older games though, and this is a little bit separate from the subscription service argument, but in this interview with that Rebecca Valentine did with CEO Yosuke Matsuda, um, there is a bit of a funny little instance case at the very end regarding like why you haven't seen why it's been more sort of difficult for Square to bring some of those older games back. Um, Quote, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but in some cases, we don't know where the code is anymore.
Oh, that's right.
It's very hard to find them sometimes because back in the day, you just made them and put them out there and you were done. You didn't think of how you were going to sell them down the road. Sometimes customers ask, why haven't you released that game yet? And the truth of the matter is it's because we don't know where it has gone.
Wow.
That honestly, that implicit or tacitly confirms the rumor surrounding Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah.
Because like remember the rumor was like that the code had been missing, so that's why they never got a remaster out until this year when they announced it.
Oh yeah, I saw a wonderful thread on how Square has lost so much of their history and had to go find it, and like porting assets, things just randomly change, and they're weird.
Jesus
It's just
Christ.
ridiculous. Ridiculous. Ugh.
All right, on to the next story. We begin with Animal Crossing was delayed until March of next year, but for good reason. Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser, now obviously we have to take him more on his word for this. You know, there's always a chance. Hey, new CEO telling half truths. Sure, happens, whatever. But we have no reason not to believe him as well. There's been a whole lot of history with Nintendo in these sort of aspects that sure we could have done more crunch, but for us, we want to provide a positive work-life balance for our employees, and we didn't want to apply the crunch that would have been required to get this out on time. Which is fairly positive, but as a net result, Nintendo stock did drop from this. Now, it should be noted, Nintendo stock drops for really fucking weird things sometimes, but
Yeah.
uh, this is the sort of economic world that we live in, that it is expected that you will sell your games on time always and with a continuing positive increase year over year in revenue.
Now, here's the thing. I will admit, because I didn't realize this at the time, I will admit that during the Nintendo Direct for E3, I was very disappointed to see that it was going to come out next year. But now that I've seen the reason why, I am more than happy to wait. Like, of course I want to get my hands on it. Of course I want to play the game now. But if this means that Nintendo is going to be a company that does not get involved with crunch, fucking A, go for it. We've spoken on this podcast and we've spoken all the time about numerous times about how important it is to avoid crunch and how vital it is to stop having this be a common practice in the gaming industry. So, I mean, again, yes, there is that disappointment there as an Animal Crossing fan, but I would much, much rather have a game that's delayed, that's I know is going to be a great product coming out that I can spend my hard-earned money on, as opposed to them releasing it just for the sake of their shareholders and stockholders and having it be shit or having people have to do crunch. Like, I just wouldn't want them to go through that. So I think it was a great idea. The article does go on to say that March 2020 is going to be the launch date, and it gives them less than 2 weeks to contribute to the company's full year results because of their fiscal year. That's the risk that you got to take if you want to make this a place where people aren't killing themselves working in the industry.
Yeah, but you gotta remember, like the first week is probably gonna be like the highest sales week for any new release. So
Yeah,
like it makes I don't think it's gonna hurt their bottom line too much.
I don't think so.
I will no. I will commend them for like being one of the only major publishers to put like their studio and their employees ahead of their shareholders for once. And honestly, all of the response from everyone outside of their shareholders has been immensely popular. It seems like only people that have a vested financial interest in Nintendo are the ones that seem to be decrying this move. And honestly, those people probably are not probably are overreacting because Nintendo is probably at its strongest financially than it has been in the past 20 years
In a very
right
long
now.
time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but day traders are fickle fucks.
Oh
So
yes. Oh yes. The most fickle. More fickle than trying to feed a cat.
I'm okay. Anyways,
and our last story of the day, Konami is in the news for bizarre fucking reasons.
Yes.
There,
Okay.
you
Sorry.
go.
I have to take this. So Tuesday, I was watching the Twitch thing, knowing that they were ending the day with a what they categorized as a special announcement from Konami. And I everyone, not necessarily everyone, but by everyone I mean me, was speculating like, what the fuck could this be? Because Konami does not put out anything if it's not pachinko at right now. Pachinko and PES, which by the way, they changed the name of PES, their soccer franchise. It's now called eFootball PES because they had to do two dumb things this year and not just one. So, sidebar there. Coming back to this, I'm sitting here watching. The announcement comes on, and like you have like the people on the couch, and then they're like, "Well, before we say anything, watch this video." And then all of a sudden, it's just like sleek angles. Here's this plastic. It's like a console thing. Oh, they got a new. Is Konami doing a console? And then all of a sudden, you hear TurboGrafx 16 come up on the screen, and it shows all these like demos of old TurboGrafx games. And I'm just like, what the fuck are we even doing here? Like, this is what you made everybody wait till the end of the day to see. Like no wonder nobody really outside of me was like waiting with bated breath to see what you were doing. I was sitting here thinking like we released the rights to PT and let somebody else let them do something with it. We sold off this or like even if they had trolled out like a mobile pachinko thing app, like that would have been more on brand for them. But I didn't even know they had the rights to the TurboGrafx 16
Who
and like
did?
apparently yeah, so they're releasing a TurboGrafx 16 mini across all three major regions. Like each like the version of the console that came out in that region is coming out in that region. So yeah, the Japanese one, the American one, and the European one. So those are all coming at some point. I have no idea. I don't remember when. I don't remember what the release date was if they even announced it. Because as soon as I saw the image of the TurboGrafx, I'm like, this is. I don't need to pay attention anymore. Like Konami, if Konami wasn't already out of the games market, this was the final nail. Like this was it. Like I know that there are plenty of people that have like love for the TurboGrafx, including me. That the TurboGrafx 16 is a like it's one of those consoles that kind of lives in as a myth in some ways because so many people heard about it but never got to touch one, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
So like in that way I'm curious, but at the same time, this should not be like your E3 headliner at all. It shows so much of the incompetence that this company has now when it comes to the video game market, and it shows why they got out of it.
But if you want to get yourself some of that R-Type or Adventure Island, you know where to find it.
R-Type was the first game they showed in that trailer. Like they
Hmm.
led with R-Type. Uh,
No bunk?
no bonk, just R-Type.
All right, you guys do
Anyway,
you.
yeah. Sorry. Like half of this anger is coming from the heat from this heat wave that we're having in Oregon right now. But like some of it, a lot of it is really true to heart, though. It's just like God.
Hey, I understand completely.
Anyway, thoughts after I got all of my anger out.
Fuck Konami. I'm not buying it.
No.
Like I would love to play a couple of TurboGrafx 16 titles, but this ain't it, Chief. Unless like it comes out and it is like fucking amazing and they've polished it and shined it, but I don't trust Konami anymore to give the polish and shine that this requires. This is going to be another PlayStation fucking classic. Eat my dick.
God, it's just ridiculous.
Joan, any last thoughts?
I think it's on the screen, or it was on the screen.
Yeah. So that basically does it this week for Mr. Video Games, except, as always, at the end of our show, we announce our vote for Mr. Video Games, the company, the entity, the person that's done something so amazing, so hideous, what have you, that you can only look at it and go, "Oh, this is what video games is. This is definitely video games." And this week's winner of Mr. Video Game title is the No Man's Sky community. They went out of their way to go buy a cute, adorable billboard to put outside of the Hello Game studio just to say thank you.
Admittedly, this is pretty fucking. This is such a
Yeah.
sweet
Adorable
gesture.
as shit.
This might be peak internet gaming community positivity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and apparently they're also buying some beer and lunch for the team. So
That's
Aww,
rad.
I didn't
And
see
so
that
this
part.
is- Yeah, so like this is like the best. Like the thing that amazes me is that this all came from the game's subreddit. Like we're not talking about like like other collected like Reset Era or like other communities, that sort of thing. This came from Reddit. Like Reddit actually did something good for the world for once.
This is true, and also keep in mind too that this was a game that, upon its release, was nothing that was promised. Like, this was a game that fell flat on its face, but due to the continued development from Hello Games, like blossomed into a game that all these people enjoy, and the fact that they all got together as a community and were like, hey, thank you for this game. You know, it was rocky at first, now it's great, and we all love it. Like, this is just so fucking adorable.
Yeah. That being said, Todd Howard, no excuse.
Yeah, no. I don't think Bethesda's gonna get a billboard anytime soon, or at
Just
least a
'cause-
positive one.
Just because Sean Murray got a billboard out of his broken ass game does not mean that you are going to that you should put out another broken ass game.
you know, I would love to start up a Kickstarter right now to get a billboard outside of Todd Howard's house to say, no, stop launching broken games.
That billboard has been the internet for the past 5 years,
Yeah, for real.
and he clearly doesn't get the message, so it's whatever.
But yeah, apparently thank you Cam G and all of the other people on Reddit for making a actually adorable and sweet Kickstarter. So we can end the show on a positive note for once.
Yay!
Exactly. Beautiful.
But this has been our post E3 thoughts and news. Next week I will be out and replaced by our lovely Lady Merowyn instead. So you get to have a double estrogen filled episode of
Woo!
Mr. Video Game Super Show.
Ah, yeah.
Brian, any last thoughts tonight before we close?
Yeah, one, shout out to Overwatch League for having their Pride Day last Friday. We missed it. We
Well,
missed the announcement while we were doing our show last week,
Oh,
and it was totally rad. I love that they are giving visibility and promotion to the LGBTQ community within the world of esports on a level that no other esports franchise is doing. And I also wrote about how the South Korean broadcast of that day's games made no mention of Pride Day because South Korea has a thing with gay people. That should be going up on Outsports over the weekend. So if you want to check that out, thumbs up. Other than that, no, E3 was really rad. I can't wait for some of the games that I saw. That being said, it is so fucking hot in this room. Oh my god.
In the interest of wrapping this up, I'm cool. You're cool. Don't be a dick and treat each other awesomely. That's it. That's all I got.
Keanu.
You're breathtaking.
Yeah. You're all breathtaking.
It's pronounced Keanu.
I'm gonna hit stop streaming now. Bye.
Bye.